Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're doing the weekly October 27th to November 3rd tarot reading for the sign of Sagittarius. Alright, I am a fellow Sagittarius with my Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Uranus in Sagittarius, Leo Moon, and a Taurus rising. So, this is for my collective, right? My brothers and sisters. So, let's get right into it, Sagittarius. So, pull out your romance angel messages for the week. Codependency. It's been out a lot this week, honestly. Honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. And we have heart-to-heart conversations. All right, so very beautiful indeed. Okay, so before we know what that's really going to mean, right? It's a kind of a different, completely different set of energies here and messages. We're going to get right into your animal spirits and see what kind of animal spirits you may or may not be resonating with this week, or maybe coming into your life this week in the form of friends, lovers, family, or just individuals that you're dealing with. Could also be indicating paths or stages in your life that you're entering into or coming out of, right? So Sagittarius, octopus is flowing out. We're not going to take it. We need a nice, clear set of 3 animal spirits for our lovely Sagittarius for this week. Wow, your cards are jumpy. I haven't had jumpy cards like this for a while. Let's see what that all means, Sagittarius. Wolf. Wolf energy coming in. The protector of the pack. Very strong feminine energy. Phoenix. First chakra. Talking about death, rebirth, burning off karma, starting anew, and the beaver. Water energy. And a beautiful, beautiful worker for creating a financial and emotionally secure and stable environment. 3 really, really nice animal spirits. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The wolf is earth energy and the great protector of the pack. The wolf's sole job is really to look out for the pack or the family, for those who are vulnerable oftentimes. A lot of times wolf is associated with activism, social activism, humanitarianism, those of us who work to eradicate things like hunger or homelessness, right? The wolf is very, very idealistic. And oftentimes the wolf can come in when we're talking about healing family issues, because sometimes the wolf runs into a little bit of danger when he requires, or she requires, everyone in the pack to be like her, right? To be like the wolf. And so this can often happen in families when you have parents or guardians or others in your family who want you to sort of follow in the family line, and it causes some upheaval, or it causes, separation or arguments or strife or trouble because of that insistence on having you follow in their footsteps. And so that can kind of be a little bit of the unbalanced energy of the wolf. But for the most part, the wolf is a very strong, dedicated leader, one that does indeed take care of the pack very well, take care of the family very well. Great teaching energy as well, and of course associated with feminine energy. Now, the phoenix is elemental ether or spirit, and is associated with the first chakra and burning off of karma. Phoenix comes in oftentimes in our life when we realize we've had enough of struggling. We've had enough of holding on to the bitterness or holding on to things that no longer serve us. You know what I mean? It's like enough is enough, and you're ready to burn away baggage. You're ready to let things go. You're ready to just kind of like let any kind of negativity that's holding you back in any kind of way that just doesn't serve you any purpose anymore, you let it go, you burn it off, and you kind of rise from those ashes like the phoenix, free, emotionally free, spiritually free to move on with your life in happiness without that kind of dead weight. We talk about burning off bad karma here, right? And when we talk about that, we mean the kind of bad karma that or negative, not even bad, but negative karma that we put on ourselves by continuing to engage or hold on to negativity, or continuing to hold on to things that upset us or hurt us. It's just, we are the ones who suffer, right? When you're holding on to a slight that somebody has caused you for a long time ago or whatever, that person is not thinking about that. You are. And so you're suffering under your own kind of sort of inability to detach. And when the phoenix comes in, it's a great feeling of being able to detach and let go. Being able to finally not burn the bridges, but really cross the bridges and put them behind you. Very, very nice energy. And certainly an energy of transforming yourself, freeing yourself, really. Now the beaver comes in with water energy, and the beaver is a very, very beautiful, strong, emotionally supportive animal. Although the beaver is actually an earthly animal, it resides in the realm of water because, of course, the beavers make their home in the water, the dams that they live in, right? Now, this, in a lot of ways, the beaver provides a very emotionally safe nest for himself and his family, right? It's the hard work and dedication that the beaver puts in to constantly build the home, constantly make sure the home is comfortable, constantly make sure that everyone has what they need, that provides this really, really stable energy. This could be a family member, this could be a lover, this could be just in a way, you may be resonating with a little bit of this as well, Sagittarius, right? This wanting to make the nest comfortable. It could be that you're dealing with a water sign that's making you feel very comfortable right now, right? Sagittarius, you could be dealing with a person who is either a water sign or resonating with a lot of water energy, and they're providing a very kind of cozy and supportive environment for you right now, which is very, very nice indeed. So let's go ahead and get into your spreads for this week, Sag. And we're going to pull out anywhere from 4 to 8 3-card spreads for the week. Now remember, you may or may not resonate with these forecasts, and these forecasts aren't for the same Sagittarius. They're separate forecasts. Each 3-card spread is a separate outlook, and you may resonate with one or more or none of them, and that's fine, okay? Just take whatever applies to you and let the rest, fly. All right, guys. Let's see what your first outlook is going to be. Straight out, we have Ace of Cups, beautiful. 9 of Swords and the 6 of Swords. Wow. Okay. Some of you are in love. You have just had a new love connection, but you're extremely worried about it this week. This week, you just have a lot of anxiety about the connection, right? You have a lot of anxiety about it because it's new. It could be, Sagittarius, that you're already having anxieties about other things in your life that you're dealing with right now. You could already be dealing with a lot of sort of upheaval, right? A lot of pressures, mental pressures, I want to say, not so much emotional, but mental pressures, having to sort of deal with a very strenuous situation or a tense sort of stage in your life right now. And so you freshly fall in love, you have this new love, and it almost feels as though this week, like, oh God, I want this love, I'm in love, but I have so many other pressures on me right now. Will this all really work out the way I need it, and want it to work out? But remember, the 9 of Swords is really a misery that we put ourselves under. It's not at all representative of the truth or what's really happening. And you may be worrying about this connection not working out, but there's really no sign that it wouldn't necessarily work out. And you're really just worrying unnecessarily in a lot of ways, Sagittarius. You do end up the week, the end of the week, you end up with a Six of Swords. So you end up sort of like moving towards harmony, right? I think you move towards harmony with this connection. I think your general mental state moves towards harmony. You know, by the end of the week, you realize there isn't anything really for you to worry about. Some of you may indeed be moving. You may decide to move. You may be physically moving in some cases. But whatever is kind of vexing you here, which, like I say, is not so much the new connection, but other things in your life that are worrying you that you feel like is going to impact this new connection. By the end of the week, you really realize that that's not going to necessarily happen, and things move in a very harmonious way. Remember, 6 is the number for journeying towards harmony, making a decision to move towards harmony and away from strife and power struggle, which is 5. 5 is the number for power struggle. Once we are done with power struggles, we move to the 6, where we begin to move away from that. We make these conscious decisions to be away from negativity, to be away from power struggles or an environment that provides that kind of power struggle, and you move towards harmony. And I think this new love connection indeed helps you move towards a more harmonious life altogether. Could very well indeed involve a honeymoon. Moon, 5 of Cups, 10 of Swords. So some of you start off the week with moon energy. Again, you're unsure of your feelings. You're unsure of your partner's feelings. You may be in a particular relationship this week, Sagittarius, that is moving down territory that you're unsure of, right? And it's giving you, again, a little bit of anxiety. 5 of Cups comes in, and I think you begin once again to worry about the past raising its ugly head again. You begin to worry about this possible connection turning out like other connections have, which were very disappointing for you. They really didn't come to the fruition that you wanted. And I want to say Phoenix energy is in a sense that it is time to really let go of things in the past, right? Let go of sort of the trauma that is associated with past relationships, because not all relationships are the same. And sometimes we hold on to, you know, the way things usually go, right? Everybody does it. I'm not just saying Sagittarius, but a lot of us, all signs do it. You know, all people do it at some point in their lives. You know, it just feels like, for some reason, it feels harder to lift your head up and be, you know, and try to refill this optimism for the new than it does to sort of wallow in the past. And I think a lot of that is just because when we have already been hurt, that particular hurt is something that we know it. And so it's not as frightening as the possibility of being hurt in the future. That possible hurt in the future that we don't know how bad it's going to be, or we don't know what it means. That's much more frightening than sort of wallowing on past pains in a way, right? And so this is kind of an internal power struggle, Sagittarius, and this is what we see with 5 of Cups. That internal power struggle of either remaining depressed and worried about the past and worrying that the past will relive itself in the future, or really like deciding to say, okay, that's fine, I've been through it. Okay, I've been through it 3 times, but there are 2 more cups here, and I'm willing to sort of really let go of the past and really look to the future. As soon as you do that, you come out. 10 of Swords, you come out, complete it. It's almost as if this is the last hurdle. Remember, the moon indicates also a testing phase, right? The moon card is about a testing phase in our lives, or a time in our lives where we are being tested emotionally. Our strength in a lot of ways, our emotional strength is being tested. Remember, this is the 18. The first 8 is the card strength. It's Leo. All right. So, you know, in the first 8, we talk about sort of understanding your strengths, you know, and understanding when too much is too much, right? But here with the moon, here comes in the testing of that. The testing of, you know, everything that we learned with the first 8, right? And so a lot of times, sorry about that, my camera just shut off. And so, 5 of Cups, this 5 of Cups in this new area, this new love that some of you, or in current love relation that some of you are in, seems this week maybe like it is a testing phase, in the sense that, are you willing to really let go of the past and move on? Well, you pass the test, you know, you lift your head up, and what happens to 10 of Swords, which is a release from all of that, right? 10 of Swords and Phoenix energy is very compatible. It's releasing the old ego, releasing this person we were before that was so hurt, that has really been through a lot. This is not to say you weren't through a lot, but this old Sagittarius, this old you is dead. This is the ego, and now, you know, you can't be hurt by the same swords anymore. You can't be hurt by the same sort of traumas or events, because you've learned, your ego has sort of subsided. And oftentimes when we have a 10 of Swords, the new you, generally we would look at as having a smaller ego and a bigger spirit, right? We want the ego to slowly diminish. Ultimately, that is the goal, diminishing the ego and becoming much closer to the greatness and the bigness of the spirit, right? And so, yes, for a lot of you, this is really, I know it starts off in the beginning is very apprehensive this week, but the ending of this week is very Phoenix energy. It's very like, whew, like you really just, how can I say, the burdens of the past, the burden and the struggle of a particular stage in your life is absolutely done, and you feel it in every single way. Oh. Empress, 6 of Wands, and we have 8 of Swords. Okay, well, Empress energy is beautiful as well. Again, Empress energy talks about, oftentimes the Empress comes in to remind us to be, you know, to nurture ourselves, to keep ourselves vital and happy, and to luxuriate in our own beauty. But also with the Empress, oftentimes it's the equalization of the inner beauty and the outer beauty. Your environment begins to reflect the inner beauty. Abundance and rewards come in to reflect the inner you. And this is really a beautiful energy. Of course, divine feminine energy. But yeah, Empress is very sort of like coming into your own sense of self, your own sense of beauty in yourself, and having, I want to say, reached the stage in your life where your environment very much begins to mirror everything that you've put into yourself, the walk that you've walked, the talk that you've talked. Very much feeling of finally being able to luxuriate in your own garden, if you know what I mean, right? And the 6 of Wands comes in, so there's a victory that comes in for some of you. This does feel almost like a honeymoon, right? It does. It feels almost like Sagittarius. For some of you, it's going to be like at work, you got that raise, you got that money coming in, or the house, you were in the middle, you've been trying to buy a house and it finally comes in. I mean, this victory is very, very nice. It's very nice, and I want to say it comes at the end of really a long period of struggle. But again, Empress is here because your life is very much, the outer is beginning to very much mirror the inner. The inner has been beautiful for quite some time. The inner you is a beautiful, beautiful soul, right? But you've had a lot of work. You've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of trials and tribulations. And for some of you, you may have dealt with periods of not having enough money, or not having sort of things the way you'd really like for them to be, because you're struggling. You're working a couple jobs. You may have had a couple children that you're sort of taking care of, whatever the case may be. But now it just feels very much like finally begins, you know, your environment, your life around you begins to take notice and really mirror you, and this victory is beautiful. However, there is an 8 of Swords, all right? So be careful, because there is a feeling of codependency, in the sense that somebody's going to come in and play very much the victim, very much maybe try to even gaslight you or take the wind out of your sails. 8 of Swords is the person who is very, very toxic in a lot of ways. They alienate themselves by their own rigidity, by their own sort of way of thinking and acting. Can almost be like this person's sort of toxic narcissistic ways get worse as your victory gets better, right? Because it's a public victory, so they see it, right? And they act like a real child around you. Extremely codependent energy, right? This could be a lover or a relative, you know, a child, an older child, right? Who may be pissed because you're getting married again, and yet they're in their 20s and have no reason to be pissed. It's some kind of connection like that you're going to have to deal with this week, Sagittarius, as a result of all this beauty and reward that's coming in. Hanged Man, Knight of Pentacles, and the World card. Look at this. And the Seven of Swords fell out too. I'm going to leave it there because I'm interested why this came out. The Knight of, the Hanged Man energy comes in because Sagittarius, a particular area in your life, I'm going to say the area of your business or your job, which has been extremely stuck for a while or stagnated for a while, completely begins to move forward in a very consistent way now this week. Knight of Pentacles comes in. This blockage or obstacle or whatever the case may be is removed. And I want to say Seven of Swords, hastiness. This is the card for hastiness and futility. All right. And so watch out for some of you. Don't be too hasty. Don't rush things. Remember, the Knight of Pentacles is a slow horse, but he's methodical. He will reach his goal. Careful not to be too hasty. Careful not to, get ahead of yourselves. And I think that's why the Seven of Swords has come up. But you guys certainly move forward. It's like, and you don't move forward and stop again. Right now that this ball begins to roll forward and it keeps rolling forward, and what ends up happening is World card comes in, that world energy, in the sense that a very fated kind of path begins to open up. Right? I think up until now it's felt very much for some of you in a particular area, whether it be your career or a business, wherever it is you make your money, it may have felt very sort of like you knew you were on the right track, but things weren't just working out. You're like, well, I know I'm on the right track. Why am I still having these stops and starts and stops and starts? This is over. This gets behind you this week, Sagittarius, and the ball rolls, and you are well on your path to achieving this goal. Money begins to come in too. Six of Cups, the Fool, and the Seven of Cups. Wow. I'm going to leave it here. This is going to be the last spread, guys. Six of Cups, beautiful connection. You guys, some of you, again, you have a really lovely soul connection with someone. Again, this could be someone that is a soulmate or someone that you've known for a long time as a friend, and the relationship may be deepened. Whatever the case may be, this is a very long-term, beautiful connection of building memories. This is certainly a connection that is a family connection in a way, right? A bond, not just a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but a real bond. And you feel the Fool comes in the sense that you guys are about to start a whole new life. This life is about to be a whole new path. Seven of Cups comes in now. Seven of Cups just talks about being careful not to have too rosy of an image or an idea about something, Don't be too caught up in the clouds, too sort of pie in the sky. Keep a sense of reality of what's going on, right? This is a fairy tale, but it isn't a fairy tale that's out of sort of proportion, right? And so Seven of Cups talks about, for some of you, it feels like this is a fairy tale. This is what you've been dreaming for. For some of you, that's just how you see this being. And so the admonishment with Seven of Cups is that, yes, you can have a fairy tale union, or you can desire things like that, but you still have to be grounded. You still have to be practical, and you have to understand that these things don't come without some kind of cost or payment or work, right? And so the Seven of Cups just comes in to remind you that, some things are realistic and some things aren't. However, this is indeed a new love connection that I'm going to say for some of you, whether this connection is new or not, it's a deep love connection. It's a long-term love connection, but more than anything, this week you guys very much start a path together with the Fool. You start a new stage, like it's your new stage of life and it's their new stage, a new stage in their lives, but it's a stage that you guys have together. Very, very beautiful. All right, Sagittarius, I am going to leave it at that. This is October 27th to November 3rd weekly reading. If it resonated with you, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, and share. Go ahead and hit that bell for the notifications. Next up will be the air signs, I believe. Yes, next up will be the air sign weeklies. That'll be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and then we'll be done with all the signs. But for right now, thank you so much for stopping by Bow and Arrow Tarot, and don't forget to come back next week for your weekly. Bye-bye, Sagittarius.